This is the Mo Patton Sports Videocast with Maurice, Patton, and Terrence Smithson. LT360 is a health and weight loss company based in Brentwood, led by Coach Scott Oatsvall and Brent High. They have helped more than 700 clients in the last year get healthy, lose weight, and feel better with an all-natural program and simple approach to exercise and nutrition. LT360 offers free health and wellness seminars each week. For more information, visit their website at lt360.com or call them at 615-312-8244. Taziki's Mediterranean Cafe, Nashville's answer to fast, friendly, healthy comfort food. With a menu featuring assorted grilled meats, fresh veggies, and a dash of inspiration, Taziki's casual dining is perfect for lunch, before a movie, or a dinner featuring laughter and great memories. Originality is our nationality. With 7 Middle Tennessee locations, one of them is near you. Check www.tazikiscafe.com to select your nearest location and next favorite dish.
Want to play ball at the next level? You got what it takes? Then you got to provide a professional highlight video to coaches. Recruit Reels is the nation's leading sports highlight video production company, and they're here in Tennessee. Starting at just $3.99, Recruit Reels helps student athletes realize their dream, and families afford college. Watch highlight videos and review video packages at recruitreels.com. Call them at 615-896-6076.
Want to welcome everyone into the Mo Patton Sports Videocast as we head into week 2 of the TSSAA State Football Playoffs. I'm Maurice Patton along with Terrence Smithson. We are out here at Christ Presbyterian Academy. The Lions kind of got off the mat after a slow start. They are a second-round playoff participant heading across town to Stratford on Friday night. We'll be touching base on this ball game here in a bit. Want to start, though, with Terrence's alma mater, the Page Patriots. 2 weeks ago, we had some questions about them coming off a tough loss in the Region 4-4A de facto championship game against Marshall County. Bounced back with a big 34-7 win against Chattanooga Central in the opening round of the 4A playoffs. They've now got a rematch Friday with Spring Hill coming to town. Spring Hill lost a 26-25 matchup back in week 3, and they not necessarily been up and down, but had a little bit of a slide. The Raiders have, but they bounced back big as well. Won a big game in their season finale to clinch a playoff spot against Lawrence County, and then went on the road last weekend and knocked off a previously undefeated Stone Memorial team 28-8 to get into this matchup.
Yeah, they did, Mo. Spring Hill came back tough with Phil, the Lubble kid, being back at quarterback. And I think that made a big difference for them in that Stone Memorial game. And I look for big things from them Friday night against the Patriots.
You know, this team, they've got a great running back in junior Dante Smith. He had 209 yards and a touchdown against Stone Memorial. But like you said, Blake Lovell really helps him stay balanced. Threw for a couple of touchdowns. Didn't throw it a lot. Pretty efficient with it, though. Threw for 117 yards, 2 touchdowns. But when they can take advantage of those two guys on the outside, Justin Oden and Darren Johnson, opens things up for him. And Jay Emmons, we talked a little bit on the videocast about, on the podcast earlier this week about this game. Jay Emmons, the first-year coach down there, said the defense played their best game of the year up at Stone Memorial. Really got a great push up front, kept that running game in check, and they're going to have to do that again this time around because Bubba Johnson, the freshman running back we've talked about a lot on this show, and Jacob Van Landingham, the quarterback, they've got a nice 1-2 punch in the run game themselves.
They do. And for Bubba Johnson to have a big effect on this game, Chris Dahl, the senior center for Page, is going to have a big game, he and the rest of that offensive line, against Terrell Nunn and those guys over on the Red Raiders defensive front.
You know, I was talking to Charles Rathbone earlier this week. He said they've had some injuries up front that they've had to regroup from. They've lost 3 offensive linemen from the start of the season, a couple of guys on the defensive line as well, but obviously they kind of pieced some things together this past weekend. So if they can continue to do that, they've got a shot. Like you said, Chris Dahl kind of leading that charge up front. Terrell Nunn, 6'3", 280, senior defensive tackle. Quite the physical specimen. I mean, this kid can pick him up and lay him down. Like we talked a little bit, I saw him with a 36-yard scoop and score in that Lipscomb game a couple of weeks ago. So he's a force up front. Caleb Terrence is a big kid at linebacker, big rangy kid, but he brings the wood. And I don't know that this game is necessarily going to go the way the first one did. We'll be picking this one and some other ones here later in the show, but Spring Hill's playing awfully well right now, I think.
They are, and Javari Braden, the tight end, is a weapon as well. And with the quarterback being back in action, he's going to give them some balance that they probably hadn't had for a few weeks. And when the quarterback's back and everybody's playing with confidence, it helps both sides of the ball.
Spring Hill got out to a 4-1 start, kind of slid in the middle there with 4 straight losses, won their last 2. Again, had to beat Lawrence County to get into the playoffs and then won last week on the road. Page has won 6 of their last 7 after starting off 1-2 with that 1 win being over Spring Hill. So you've got a couple of teams that are kind of surging here at the right time. Should make for a pretty exciting ball game over at Page Friday night.
I think it will be.
The winner of that one will play the winner of this one. Giles County at Marshall County. The Bobcats go over to Lewisburg for the second time this year. They're 8-3. Marshall County 10-1. Marshall County won this initial matchup 45-10. So David O'Connor and the Bobcats kind of stinging from that one, I would imagine. They've won 3 straight now, Giles County has. They won 42-14 in their playoff opener down at Hickson. Finished up the regular season with a big 56-28 win against Tullahoma. So again, they're playing some pretty good ball. Their 2 losses other than the Marshall County game were 26-21 to Shelbyville, which went to the 5A playoffs, and 38-35 to Page, who we just talked about. So pretty nice slate for Giles County, looking for a little revenge, as is Spring Hill in that one. So should be an interesting matchup as well.
Well, D. McElroy is going to be a big factor in this game for Giles County. If he can have a big game, they can maybe reverse the fortunes of the first game against Marshall County. He and Key McDonald's a great linebacker for Giles County, and he goes from sideline to sideline. And I look for him to put up a stronger defensive effort this time than they had the first time.
You know, it kind of surprised me that they gave up 45 in that ball game, and a lot of them were late. Game kind of got away from them in the second half, and more specifically in the fourth quarter. But that Marshall County offense can strike quick and strike from a number of different spots. Jay Howard last week in that in their 46-0 playoff win over East Hamilton, 8 catches for 132 yards and 2 touchdowns. And they really kind of put you in a pick your poison type dilemma with those 2 receivers, with Jay Howard, with Trey Crutcher, because you can't double them both.
No, you can't, and you can't pay too much attention to them because you got Cameron Liggett in the backfield, and they hand it to him, but he makes it happen.
No doubt. So, you know, they've really got a diverse offense, and Bryce Wallace, the sophomore quarterback, has done a really nice job taking advantage of the weapons he's got at his disposal. 191 passing yards, 2 passing touchdowns, ran for 1 last week. Marshall County also had 2 defensive scores in that win. Kay McWilliams, the Mr. Football semifinalist, with a fumble recovery, and Donathan Tears had a interception return for a score as well. So Marshall County right now kind of getting it done on both sides of the ball.
Marshall County, if they play their cards right, can be in the hunt for that gold ball in Cookville.
I think that's kind of what they've had in mind since they went to Knoxville Catholic in the state semifinals last year and lost to the eventual state champions. 10-1 the Tigers are. Their only loss was to Stratford at Stratford, 28-21 back in week 6. So they strung together some wins before that, including one over a pretty impressive Overton team. They've strung some more together since then, and definitely a team to keep an eye on, and this is a game to keep an eye on. John Backus, the quarterback for Giles County, big kid, junior, transfer from Athens, Alabama, has done a really nice job for them. Arkell Reed has taken over the brunt of the running back duties for Giles County after splitting time back there last year. And they've got a nice couple of receivers themselves with Tanner Holly and Peyton Hall. So again, don't get too caught up in that Spring Hill Page game, because this one here won't be a bad one either over in Lewisburg.
I agree. I'm interested to see just how competitive it is this time.
And anytime those 2 teams get together, it's a huge rivalry. They're virtually neighboring schools. They've played each other for years. I think the series goes back more than 50 years. So never necessarily any love lost between these 2.
Oh, no. Actually, Mr. Wallace was supposed to be attending Giles County, And he's playing quarterback for Marshall County, so you know that probably stings a little bit.
Yeah, it stings a little bit. Thomas Osteen, the coach at Marshall County, was offensive coordinator at Giles County when they won its state championship back in '09. Marshall County's quarterback coach, Bo Wallace, was Mr. Football for Giles County that year. So got a few ties down there, kind of spices things up a little bit. So a lot of spice in Lewisburg Friday night. Keep an eye on that one. That'll get you started. We got some more to talk about when we come back. Stay with us. John Mayer Builders proudly sponsors Mo Patton Sports Videocast. With over 1,500 homes built in Middle Tennessee, John Mayer Builders knows the importance of families and communities. They have numerous business awards to their credit, proving that John Mayer Builders is built to win. Like them on Facebook. John Mayer Builders, our reputation is building.
Express Employment Professionals, North Nashville and downtown, owned by respected business leaders Christy and Jason Patrick, is the premier employment agency in the community. Express is one of the community's largest employers, consistently working over 500 people at over 125 private businesses each week in Davidson County. Whether you are a company looking for the next great employee or a candidate looking for the next great job, Express is the employment resource for you. Call them at 615-313-3690 or visit their website at www.expresspros.com/InNashvilleTN. Like them on Facebook at Express Employment Professionals, Nashville North and downtown.
In 5A, we listened to the results of that Cane Ridge game while we were out at Independence last weekend. Cane Ridge had a little dramatics in their matchup with Summit, but they eventually pulled out a 35-21 win. Their reward is catching a Beach team. Beach went down to Shelbyville and won 44-30 in their opening round game. And this is another rematch as Beach lost to Cane Ridge 17-16 during the regular season. Cane Ridge was down 10-0, scored 17 unanswered. Beach scored late, went for 2 on the final play of the game, didn't get it, 17-16. So obviously, 2 pretty evenly matched ball clubs matching up here in the second round of the 5A playoffs.
You're right, and I'm sure Coach Woods re-emphasized that first meeting and the slow start last week. And I expect the Ravens to come out of the gate smoking Friday night.
Should be interesting to see how that one goes. Again, Beach went on the road to open the playoffs, won 44-30 down at Shelbyville. Alex Van Zant with a huge game for the Buccaneers. 26 carries, 253 yards, 3 touchdowns. Beach rushed for 403 yards as a team, and we've talked about that 3-headed ground game monster for them with Van Zant, Chaz Williamson, and Chris Peach. Van Zant doing the bulk of the damage Friday night.
Van Zandt had a great game, and that's the beauty of having multi-talented players. You never know which one's going to snipe you, so you have to try to prepare for all of them.
Well, he did his sniping. Beach got up 24-0 at the half in that one. Shelbyville ran back at him, got it down to 24-17 before Beach finally got out of the woods. That's their second straight win. That's not their second straight win because they lost to close the regular season 35-12 at Hillsboro, a team that was kind of playing for its playoff life. Big loss over there. They were down 35-6 at one point before they got a late touchdown to kind of make it look a little bit better. But, that stopped a 4-game streak for Beach. So they had won 4 of their last 5 before they went down to Shelbyville. So they've been playing some pretty good ball. Again, 8-3. Got to feel pretty good about their chances going into Cane Ridge this time around.
Well, this is a rematch, as we talked about, and playing in that region, you're tested each week. So we know both teams have been tested all season long, and they'll come out well prepared, and this will be a hard-fought war over there at Cane Ridge Friday night.
Cane Ridge picked up their first ever playoff win last week with that 35-21 win against Summit. They won their regular season finale 54-28 against Gallatin to close out a 10-0 record. So they're really riding high. They were ranked number 2 in the state in the final Associated Press 5A statewide poll. So obviously they've been playing some good ball. Jordan Bell helped spur that second half comeback last week, finished with 121 rushing yards and 4 touchdowns. So he's obviously a guy that you got to keep an eye on if you're Beach's defense. But again, DJ Thorpe has helped them stay balanced all year as well.
He has. He's got those weapons on the outside, Amari Barton and the tall kid, I can't remember
Christian
his name.
Lancaster?
Yes, Lancaster, that runs down the field like a deer, and he catches pretty much everything you throw to him. So he's got the weapons, and we'll see how it turns out.
The winner of that one plays the winner of this one. Hillsborough 7-4 goes to Independence, another undefeated team at 11-0. Obviously, Independence defending 5A state champion on a 26-game win streak now. Hillsborough went to Independence last year in the state quarterfinals and lost 28-20, the closest game Independence played all year last year. And we've talked obviously about this Independence team. They're doing it a little bit differently than they did last year, but the results have been the same. Catching Hillsborough a week earlier this time around than last, but obviously huge matchup.
It is. I'm interested to see how they control Mr. Ben Hutch, because Independence is a small team. We saw just how small they were last week against Gallatin, but it didn't make any difference. We found out it's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. And they came off the ball and just controlled both lines of scrimmage.
The defensive end for Independence, David Demke, 5'11", 215, 14 sacks.
He played a tremendous game last week. He and the other middle linebacker over there,
Hunter Dupree.
Man, they played great. Michael Weathers, the defensive tackle, he's undersized, but he played a tremendous game, and is one of the leading tacklers on the team. They just have playmakers all over the field with that Kendall Scurry and
Montrace. There we go, number 3.
He delivered the hit of the game the other night against Desmond Chambers. Whew. It was vicious.
Hurt you, huh?
It did.
Independence with a 35-0 win over Gallatin in the opening round. Hillsborough with a 41-7 win against Stewart's Creek. Again, their 5th straight win after starting 2-4. Hillsborough, coached by Craig Clayton, whose former team Franklin is going with a 2-quarterback system, and I guess he figured if it's good enough for Franklin, it's good enough for him, because Darius Smith and Taiwan Goodner have both kind of settled into that quarterbacking role for Hillsborough, and it worked out last week. They combined for 168 passing yards and 3 touchdowns in that 41-7 win.
Tell you what, Mr. Clayton is not going to let Franklin outdo him. It's always a competition.
But they really have kind of struggled at times offensively, Hillsborough has, and it's a thing where you knew they had the pieces there. It was just a matter of putting it all together and taking advantage of a Javante Patton, taking advantage of a Barrion Claybrooks, who had 123 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns on 8 carries against Stewart's Creek. So they can really be explosive when they get everybody in the right place, and Smith and Goodner are kind of helping them do that.
They are, and their main job is going to be to take care of the football. They still had 3 turnovers last week that, kind of slowed them down. You wouldn't be able to tell by the score. The score didn't indicate it, but they did have 3 turnovers, and if they expect to beat Independence, they won't be able to have turnovers.
You got that right. They'll also likely need some special teams help. Jabari Goggins with an 81-yard punt return for a touchdown in that Stewart's Creek game, and every little bit helps when you're playing a team like an Independence, which again has won 26 straight games now. You talked about Kendrell Scurry, the sophomore receiver who is already committed to UT. 5 catches for 114 yards and a touchdown in that Gallatin win. Brandon Hines, a senior quarterback, 268 passing yards, 3 scores, and again, Hillsborough dropped this matchup 28-20 in last year's quarterfinals. So these two have kind of got some familiarity with each other. I think that maybe helps Independence a little bit more from a personnel standpoint, because Indy graduated so many guys from last year.
You're right, and most people didn't expect Independence to be where they are, but those receivers they have are tremendous. They pick the ball out of the air with their hands. They catch the ball with their hands. I love it when the ball doesn't hit the pads. They use the hands to pluck the ball out of the air, and they got a getaway step that just leaves people behind.
Absolutely.
TJ
Sheffield.
He's a monster.
And Landon Guidry is a kid who is committed to Mississippi State as a safety, but he's really shown up a lot more for Independence on the offensive side of the ball this year. Scott Blade told us over the preseason that that would be the case, and that's pretty much been the way it's played out. But he's kind of been a game breaker for them in the slot.
And we saw him last week run the Wildcat. And, hey, he gets it done in the Wildcat, and he scores touchdowns.
He is a load back there, and I think Independence will kind of unload the playbook Friday night against Hillsborough. Like you said, Ben Hutch, Honeysucker, Beats, those guys, Matthew Jackson back there in the secondary, they've got star power all over that defense, and they're going to need it.
We didn't even mention Troy Henderson. He's their best running back.
Yeah, and you know, he didn't play Friday night against Gallatin with an elbow injury, but talking to Blade after the game, he said he could have played. We just decided to give him another week. He'll play Friday night. Look out for him.
They obviously didn't need him last Friday.
Yeah, and that was, you know, that's a tough situation for Gallatin going into that matchup without their big running back, Jordan Mason, who had an ankle injury and wasn't able to go. But, you know, you got to play who's there.
Tell you what, the young man that did play,
Jalen Porter,
he played, and the young man that played with him, Mason,
Ladarius Stewart.
Yeah, Stewart. Man, that cat, they got some good backs.
They absolutely do. They're going to be a team that you're going to hear about next year in that Region 6-5A as well. Hey, we got some more matchups for you. Stay tuned. Tzatziki's Mediterranean Cafe, Nashville's answer to fast, friendly, healthy comfort food. With a menu featuring assorted grilled meats, fresh veggies, and a dash of inspiration, Tzatziki's casual dining is perfect for lunch, before a movie, or a dinner featuring laughter and great memories. Originality is our nationality. With 7 Middle Tennessee locations, one of them is near you. Check www.tzatzikiscafe.com to select your nearest location and next favorite dish. At National Playmakers Academy, developing NPA athletes comes in threes. NPA develops its student athletes' academic, social, and football-specific skills. Next, NPA develops them for better exposure today, recruitment tomorrow, and college education through scholarships for the rest of their lives. We are proud of the outstanding athletes we have developed. We are more proud of the college graduates we have prepared. Work with National Playmakers Academy for developing gifted athletes into productive citizens.
Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers combine the best of bowling, games, food, drink, and fun. For all Middle Tennessee residents, Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers are the ideal destination for family entertainment. The safe, friendly environment is perfect for birthday parties for kids of all ages or business outings for adults who work too hard. Our friendly staff and fun atmosphere will help create those enjoyable memories with your coworkers, friends, and loved ones. Don't forget to sign your kids up for our Kids Bowl Free summer program. Visit us online at strikeandsparebowling.com or come see us in person at any of our nearby Strike and Spare locations in Donaldson, Hendersonville, Hermitage, Murfreesboro, and the Tusculum area for more details. We'll see you soon.
Terrence, in 3A, we encounter another undefeated ball club as Fairview at 11-0 takes on visiting Good Pasture. The Cougars come in at 9-2. Good Pasture with a 36-20 win over Harpeth in the opening round, team that Fairview just beat to close the regular season, 56-11. The Yellow Jackets coming off a 48-24 win over East Nashville. We've talked about both these teams a lot here, particularly over the second half of the season. Good Pasture again 9-2, lost their season opener to BGA, lost in week 8 to Stratford 15-14, but again, this Good Pasture team had lost 21 straight coming into the year, and I know y'all have heard me say that a lot because I'm impressed by what they've been able to do with that 2-year stretch that they were coming off of.
Well, when you see a team make that dramatic of a turnaround, it's because of the players. The players have to decide that, hey, this is not, it ends now. And they buy into what the coaching staff is telling them, and they get in the weight room, they work hard, and they do the things that it takes to be a winner. And it's always the little things. It's the technique and stuff like that that you don't pay attention to a lot when you're losing.
Well, obviously they paid attention to everything right now, and Jermaine Mason has been a big key to their success. 263 yards rushing and receiving last week in that Harpeth win. Senior running back, very versatile, gets it done on both sides of the ball, plays in the secondary for them as well. He's going to be a guy that Fairview is going to definitely have to keep an eye out for. Yeah,
he and Cameron Tompkins, of course. Mr. Tompkins plays everywhere, and he's good wherever he's at. I mean, he's a playmaker.
Fairview, meanwhile, again, 48-24 over East Nashville in the opening round of the playoffs, 56-11 against Harpeth to close the regular season, averaging 39.6 points a game. The Yellow Jackets can throw some points up with those running backs, Hunter Caldwell and Jake Beathard.
Tell you what, they're doing a great job over there behind Mackenzie Vial and Jackson Clevenger on that line, and they're rolling up some yards. We'll see what they can get done against the Cougars.
The Cougars jumped out on Harpeth 20-0 early. They were up 36-7 before Harpeth scored a couple of touchdowns late. But again, in 3A, that's going to be a pretty big matchup here locally. And again, the winner of that one gets the winner of this one, as CPA at 5-6 goes over to undefeated Stratford.
A lot of good football teams in Middle Tennessee, undefeated teams.
Absolutely, and kudos to them, and we'll see how many of them can come back next week undefeated. Exactly. CPA again 5-6, but they've won 4 of their last 5 after a 1-5 start. And I go back to what Coach Maurice Fitzgerald said about them after Stratford beat them 7-6. He said they've got the heart of a champion.
They do. They're used to winning. They expect to win, and they know what it takes to win. And it's a matter of getting the right pieces in place and get the reps and the skill sets down and getting them all on one page, and it took them a while.
It did, but again, they've won 4 of their last 5 now. We knew this team was young coming into the season. I don't know that we realized, A, how young, or B, just what the impact of that youth was going to be early on. And I think Ingle Martin has obviously scheduled tough, and I think that took its toll early on. But again, won 4 of their last 5, including last week's 51-30 win over at Camden in the opening round of the playoffs after a 40-0 win against Whites Creek to close the regular season. So they've won 4 of their last 5. They're playing with a lot of confidence right now.
The Lions' best football is ahead of them. I mean, down the road, future years, because they're such a young team. But this season is really preparing them for success down the road.
Absolutely. I think this was the year to get them. Meanwhile, Stratford, again, 11-0. Won 42-6 in their opening round game against Cheatham County. Won 21-16 to close the regular season against Greenbrier. And after really being explosive early in the year, 4 of their last 6 wins have been by a touchdown or less. So I'm not sure how much of that has to do with the quarterback, Josh Trueheart, being out for the year with a knee injury, or if they're a little banged up, or what exactly it is, or other issues, yeah. But you know, they've not been as explosive of late as they had been early on, but Terrell Carter is still a guy that you got to reckon with over there, and the quarterback that took Trueheart's place, Robert Lilly Sneed, seems to really be kind of growing into the position.
They've done a great job developing Robert Lilly Sneed behind Big Freight Gupton and Zyshawn Simmons and those guys over there. He's got a lot of help. He's got Thomas Tate behind him leading Terrell Carter through the hole, so he's got some help. It's just a matter of him managing the game and not losing it.
And I tell you what, I wouldn't mind getting a look at 325-pound Alexander Kelly back there at tailback. That's got to be fun to watch. A couple of other games to keep an eye on here. One in 5A as Henry County comes to Centennial. Henry County 6-4, coming off a 41-40 overtime win over at Brighton in the opening round of the playoffs. 2 weeks ago, Centennial went to Henry County, picked up a 34-7 win to close out the regular season and their second straight Region 7 5A championship. Last week, Centennial opened with a 35-12 playoff win over Bolton.
Well, Henry County, I don't know how many people expected them to have as good a season as they've had, since they only have 4 seniors on the roster. And when you have that small of a senior class, it's kind of hard to be 6-4, but they've done a great job.
They've really kind of regrouped and built around some of those juniors that they've got, including Lucas Reynolds and Caleb McCutcheon at running back. And those are the guys that kind of drive that offense, along with the quarterback, Savon Stewart. Centennial, meanwhile, riding a 9-game winning streak since their Week 2 loss to Independence, 31-21. And again, they defeated Henry County a couple of weeks ago to close the regular season. 22-3 over the last 2 years, Centennial is.
Well, Eli Katina and crew up there, you can get it done. Clay Carter, the middle linebacker, is the leading tackler on the team. He's got Nick Bell and Nolan Daniel and those guys over there. They got a lot of good football players.
They really do. Eli is a Mr. Football semifinalist for Centennial in 5A. Second straight year they've had one, obviously. I just lost his name. The linebacker who's at Texas A&M.
Oh, Terrell Dotson.
Thank you. Sorry, Tyrell. I know you're watching. He retweets some of our stuff. I appreciate you, T-Dots. Thanks. Big matchup for Centennial. Obviously, Matt Kreisky having played at Henry County, there's a little tie there. But this game being at Centennial, they don't have to make that big drive up to Paris, and I think that helps them out.
It does help them out. They can sit there and wait for the Patriots to come in and cougar them.
Those running backs, Zion Lee and Jerry O. Wilson, both prepared for a big game on Friday night. So keep an eye on the Cougars in this one. In 6A, another rematch. Ravenwood at 6-5 goes back to Mount Juliet. The Golden Bears 9-2, and they've not lost since Ravenwood beat them 12-7 earlier this year.
Tell you what, Mount Juliet figured it out, didn't they, after that game? And started running downhill behind those big linemen. You got a 280-pound offensive line on average in high school. That's a big line.
Absolutely, and Mason Earls and Aiden Rains have taken advantage of that size up front. Really have made a lot of things happen with the run game. Won their opener in the playoffs 43-0 over Bartlett after closing the season with a 49-10 win against McGavock. Again, they've won 7 straight after that 1-2 start where their 2 losses were to Cane Ridge and to Ravenwood. So been awfully impressive, scoring almost 44 points a game over these last 7 games.
Man, they really, when they made that switch and put the Rains kid in the backfield, that opened up everything, seems like, for their offense. And they've been producing points ever since.
Meanwhile, Ravenwood with a 45-14 win over at Houston in the opening round of the playoffs. 513 offensive yards for the Raptors, with Richie Westman kind of pulling the strings on that offense.
They've done a great job as well, losing 22 seniors off the state championship team last year. No one expected them to have the season that they've had, but they've got a great coaching staff, and they've pulled the strings and manipulated that squad and won some games folks didn't think they would win, and here they are. McCain
Marrow, the quarterbacks, throwing it around. They threw for over 200 yards, ran for well over 200 as well. And those receivers, John Rawl and Nathan Freeman, have been impressive all year long. They've got the lineman too, Patrick Lighton, who is Duke commitment. Yep. So they can get it done on both in the run and in the pass game.
They can, and with Nelson Carter back there at middle linebacker making plays, they've always been in the game.
Carter Nelson,
I got him.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. Yeah. But again, rematch. Never know what's going to happen in these things, but you feel like Mount Juliet's kind of gotten some things figured out, like you said, so that'll be one to keep an eye on as well. LT360 is a health and weight loss company based in Brentwood, led by Coach Scott Oatsvall and Brent High. They have helped more than 700 clients in the last year get healthy, lose weight, and feel better with an all-natural program and simple approach to exercise and nutrition. LT360 offers free health and wellness seminars each week. For more information, visit their website at lt360.com or call them at 615-312-8244. Taziki's Mediterranean Cafe, Nashville's answer to fast, friendly, healthy comfort food. With a menu featuring assorted grilled meats, fresh veggies, and a dash of inspiration, Taziki's casual dining is perfect for lunch, before a movie, or a dinner featuring laughter and great memories. Originality is our nationality. With 7 Middle Tennessee locations, one of them is near you. Check www.tazikiscafe.com to select your nearest location and next favorite dish.
Want to play ball at the next level? You got what it takes? Then you got to provide a professional highlight video to coaches. Recruit Reels is the nation's leading sports highlight video production company, and they're here in Tennessee. Starting at just $3.99, Recruit Reels helps student athletes realize their dream, and families afford college. Watch highlight videos and review video packages at recruitreels.com. Call them at 615-896-6076.
Terrence, last week in our pick sixes, I think we wound up 5-1 because we went right down the line, pick for pick, and the only one we missed was Springfield getting Lipscomb.
Wow. Didn't see that one coming.
Yeah, really didn't. 27-14, the Yellow Jackets snuck up on Lipscomb there, but Wayne County took care of Middle Tennessee Christian. Fairview took care of East Nashville. Stratford beat Cheatham County. Independence got Gallatin, and Hillsborough took care of Stewart's Creek. All the home teams won except Lipscomb. So 5-1 last week. Let's see what we can do this time around.
Let's do it.
All right. Your alma mater, the Patriots, got Spring Hill rolling in.
Yeah, I think the Red Raiders are going to take them this time.
No, I think I like Spring Hill in this one as well. Giles County at Marshall County.
Marshall County.
Tigers awfully diverse on offense, and I think they've got enough defensively to keep Backus in check. I like the Tigers here at home. Beach at Cane Ridge.
Cane Ridge. I'm going with the Ravens. I think they've received a wake-up call last week, and they're going to come out of the gates fast.
I think that 21-0 halftime deficit and whatever took place in the locker room during that halftime, like you said, kind of woke the Ravens up. I like Cane Ridge in this one. Hillsborough at Independence.
Indy. You got to go with Indy. They're tough.
Tough to pick against a team that's won 26 straight games. I'm going to go with the Eagles. Good Pasture at Fairview.
I'm going with Good Pasture. I think they got a lot of playmakers over there, and I think they can go into Fairview and pull it out.
Well, I like the Yellow Jackets in this one. I just like the confidence that they're playing with right now. I think Chris Hughes has really got this team's attention even at 11-0 right now. I think he's still kind of planting that seed that you've still got something to prove. And I think when push comes to shove, they'll get it done Friday night. It wouldn't be surprising if it's a close one, but I think Fairview gets it done.
I wouldn't be surprised for it to go the other way either.
CPA at Stratford.
Oh, Stratford. The Spartans, even though Josh Trueheart is out, they got so many other weapons, and they're going against this young CPA team, and I know CPA is going to put up a fight, but I think in the end the Spartans are going to take it.
I just think there's Terrell Carter. They can do so much with him and create matchups with him that are favorable to them. I like the Spartans in this one. Hey, be sure and check out the website, mopedandsports.com. Mostradamus' Pick 6. Hashtag Beat Mostradamus. Shoot us your picks on Twitter. If you get more of those games right that we just picked than Mostradamus does, you go into a drawing for a Taziki's Mediterranean Cafe gift card. 8 locations across Middle Tennessee. One of them is near you. Also, be sure and check out the Strike and Spare Coaches Show podcast as we catch up with a couple of coaches who will be involved in some of these second-round playoff games, get their thoughts heading into their matchups. That's going to do it for the Mo Patton Sports Videocast. That's Terrence Smithson. I'm Maurice Patton. We're going to go get someplace warm. See you.